Hello everyone, I'm Bob with MammothMend. Today we're going to repair this Thule Sonic cargo box. It has some breakouts on the underside of the cargo box where it mounts to the vehicle. This has got some holes in it, so this is going to be one of the first videos that we're going to show how to fill that space in. And some of the comments I've noticed people have been asking, how do I do just pieces missing and holes? So what I'm going to do on this one, you can do to any part of the cargo box, whether it's on the top, anywhere really. The only criteria we really try to do is if it's missing the plastic completely, we want to do 3 layers of fiberglass. That's going to allow it to build up enough, both in strength and in thickness, to match what's already here. So we also have this repair. We just did one already, and we've just completed that one, as you can see here, and then we're going to see this one from the beginning. We're going to take the lid off, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, how you release the keys out of it, you can see some of our other videos on how to do that. It's the same as the Force series cargo boxes, which we've had on a couple of our other videos. Now the hinges on one end are a little bit different, nothing too crazy, and the other one's simple. So let's get started and repair this cargo box and get it stronger than the way it came out of the factory. Okay, here we are at the front of the cargo box. What I got is basically needle nose pliers, and we're going to put it on the silver piece there, the metal piece. And then the other piece I have is a 3mm Allen wrench, and put that in there and undo it. And it slowly works its way out. There we go. Alright, so I like to put the pieces back into the cargo box, but there's something I want to show you. If you have broken your hinge, if it's broken anywhere in there, you'll need to get this out to compress it back into your new hinge. So what I use this is a rather large screwdriver. Sorry, we're so close, but a large screwdriver, and this has got a 3/8 inch width right here on the blade. What I do is put that in there. I take this to the bench, put it in a vise, and then put that in there and turn it. You might have to start with a smaller screwdriver with not as wide a blade. What you do is you get it started, and then once it starts opening a little bit, this little gap here, you can go to a larger one like this. And then to get it back in, you just put it in a vise or a clamp to squeeze it back in, and just compress it in that way. To remove the rear hinge, what I've done is installed just any stick or anything will work, just 27 inches long, roughly what we've got there. And to remove this hinge, these are more of a ball on each end here. What you can typically do is just kind of bend this out like this, and it'll pop out, whether it's the top or the bottom. Super easy. If I want to take it completely off, I just pop it off. No need for it. And then it's held open by that stick. So that if you only have one key, what we're going to do is activate all these points. So there's a little red button pushing up. So what I'm going to do is get it so that the rod is coming out, and then systematically go through and push each one of these down as I'm having just slight pressure on the key. You want to transfer left to right, and then you'll have to go back and forth and do it. And then you'll know you got it when this turns, and also the little rods in there, the white rods, come completely out. Right there it is. Now I can take the key out, take that out, take the key to the other side, put it in, turn it, and then flip the lid over. Now on this, we don't want the lid on top of there because we are looking to access actually the bottom side of the cargo box. So we'll clean this up, take out all these parts, and go from there. All right, what I've done is flip the cargo box over, and obviously here's the gap. Now, the tape I like best is, well, in certain purposes, the duct tape. It's just easy to use and whatnot. But as you can see from, this is a great example from somebody else putting it on there. You're left with residue, even if it's on there for a couple, 3 days. We spend too much time, in my opinion, taking off this stuff. So then what we do is use a vinyl tape, is what this is. Cost way more, but I don't have to deal with the residue. Now, since this is a hole, we're going to do 2 repairs on the inside, 1 on the outside. So we're going to do 1 on the inside, flip it over, do 1 on the let me start over on that. We're going to start by doing 1 on the inside, flip it over, take the tape off, 1 on the outside, and then do it all over again on the inside. But since this is all going to be covered up, I don't care what it looks like. You know, we're going to go right over that residue. You don't need to remove that or anything like that. So you'll notice here, you're like, well, which way can I go with this? We don't want to go, we want to maintain this arc like this 90 degrees here going down the box. Now if we do it like this, you can see we kind of lose it. Both do the sharpness of here, it's going to go from the point of A to B. We don't want that. We're going to follow the grain or the shape of the box already. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go, when I go like this, it's going to do exactly what I need it to do. See how it's following the shape? Now I'm just going to go around and push down on that. We can see that cutout there. And when I put the other piece on, I'm going to go roughly 1/3 of the way back. And we're not going to try and get it crazy taut. We're just going to put it up there, go 1/3 of the way over. Press that down, and then this side and this side is going to determine how it looks. And then I'm going to touch it down, anchor it here and here. And then, you know, I'm just going to put an extra piece of tape because I only got like this much holding that down. And that's all you need to make the mold. I'll flip that over and show you, but let me show you on the other side when I do that one. Okay, here we are on the other side. We're just doing the same thing. But just note, I did try to take all the sharp edges and everything like that off first. And I did clean it up a little bit. And then I took some Windex and sprayed it down. But I'm just doing the same thing again here. We're just not pushing it, not pulling it too tight. Because when I pull it tight, look what happens. It kind of does that banding. Well, that's what your mold's going to look like. We're just setting it down there. If anything, you can do one side and then just gently bring it over. Okay, we just want it to follow the contour. Now I'm just going to do another piece, and there we go. I'm going to start up high. Make sure there's no bubble there. Gently pull it down. There we go. We're just creating our mold. It's going to be really simple. We're just going to, I'll just do a layout. What I don't want to do is get it on these teeth. So I'm going to come right up to this, kind of center it, like that. And then the other one's going to come in over top of it. I'm going to get a little, you know, and I can cut down these pieces as far as that goes, size-wise. I'm just going to cut a little off because it just cups the top. And then I'm going to go there. Now I don't want to get it up on here, even though if it does get up here, it's not a big issue. It peels right off after it dries. So don't scurry about if you happen to get it on there. Now I should be wearing my gloves and respirator at this point, but I can't do the video with the respirator on. So I'm just going to, my mindset on this also is if this broke here, it's kind of weak here also. So it's going to help to go a little beyond. We're going to go on all repairs at least like 2 inches, you know, around it as much as we can here without removing this track. So we can always put down more than we need as this stuff. Yeah, so. And what we're going to do is we're going to consider this, we're going to put this right over it. Just do a little extra on the tape. It's not going to stick to it. So after we're done here, we're going to, there we go, just close enough. Now I need to follow the seam here, so what I'm going to do is put that there, follow that seam, and then push it down. And then here I'm going to try and follow the lines a little bit more. The reason I do the inside first is because it pushes it out. So we don't care about as much about the aesthetics on the inside as we do the outside. So this is going to be a little concave, you know, out a little bit all the time. But we want the outside to look proper and to line up. So we're just going right up to the edge. And we just want to do enough to coat it. If you can see the fabric, that's great. That's what you're after, because when you put your second coat on, or coats thereafter, that's going to fill in that aspect of it. So I'm not worried about that. So now I'm going to start up here as I roll my dauber around and apply the solvent cement. Here, I'd rather put more down or cover a larger area than not. I'm going to put this, I'm focusing more on up here rather than down there. I'm going to cleat it up here, because if I push here, it's going to pull down on the side. So I'm going to kind of cleat it. See that ridge right there? I'm going to cleat it in the same direction. I don't want to cleat here and work down there. I want to cleat it here and then push to get it down into that corner. And keep on going down and doing that. You have to kind of cleat it, otherwise it's going to pull, you know, it doesn't know which direction you want it pulled from. So, and once again, I'm going to cleat it. And we don't want any bubbly areas. And don't worry about all these frays. That's just only making it stronger. So then we're going to come through and cover it up. Like I said, I know, I can always already see I've done it, is I got it on that track. It's not the end of the world, because the actual moving part is inside this guard. It's inside the guard here and not this actual piece. And that's it. Now I'm just going to repeat the process on all four. All four aren't this bad. Some I didn't need to put a mold on it, but I'm going to let this set for 24 hours, take the tape off, and do it all over again. With this one, I can actually go through with a rather large piece. You know, I cut it. The reason I cut them down to size is when they get too big. If I was trying to do one that covered all these surfaces all the way up here, it's rather hard to deal with, because when you start tucking it in there, it pulls from the wrong spot, and I just found that it just doesn't. It's pretty, makes it more difficult. So I'm just kind of fill this in, nothing crazy. Here's how it looks after I've done all 4 repairs. These 2 here in the back weren't that bad, but the ones up front were gapped pretty bad. Okay, here we are 24 hours later. Let's flip it over and see what the results are. You can see the tape that we put on yesterday. Now let's start taking that off. This is the one that had the biggest hole in it. So we're going to start by removing the last piece that we had on there. Now you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the tape residue. See that? Now, normally when we do our repairs, we only do them on the inside, okay? So, you know, if we have to do, you know, pull in a gap or something like that, we don't do repairs on the outside. Now I'm end up where I have to clean this off, and it's not fun. So that looks great. You know, it's not very big or strong right now. This has been covered up with the duct tape, and what we need to do is we're going to put a quick coat on this just to fill or shave it down a little bit if any burrs or whatever there, and then we're going to put a coat over it, let it set for not very long, just like a couple hours, and then we're going to put a patch over it, the same as we did on the inside. All right, here we are a couple of hours after our last, we just put a coat on there is all we did. As you can see, it's dry. So I don't need all this. I'm gonna cut it just a little bit down to size as far as that goes. And then we're going to put that down. Like I said, we already have one coat on the inside. This we can go a little bit farther. There's nothing really out here that's, you know, restricting us. But I'm just going to go right up, directly up to this line, up to this line there. And I want to have it wrap a little. Now what I definitely don't want to do, from my mistakes, is you don't want to put the fabric right on the edge. You want to have it wrap over just a little bit. So I'm going to line it up here and then see where it kind of falls down here. That looks good. I'm going to push it down a little bit. Push it in all the gaps. Clean off my paddle. All right, you can see it's already starting to dry. It's not sticking already because this stuff dries really fast. Now it's not fully cured, but it just surface tensions are the, shall I say, the skin. I'm going to pull this fabric in a little bit because that's great stuff for making it stronger. So I'm just rolling the dauber back and forth, and then we're just going to be doing this same thing on the other 3 spots. Now the 2 in the back weren't broken through, so I'm just going to do 1 layer on the outside and 1 on the inside with the rear ones because they weren't broken through. The only reason I'm doing 3 is because of the fact that it broke through. All right, so here we are, day 2 still. Now, a couple hours ago, I did the patchwork on the outside of the cargo box, and we can do a patch on the inside because it's not overlapping. One's on the outside and one's on the inside, obviously. So I went ahead and shaved this up. Now I'm only doing 3 layers on the front half because those were the ones that were broken out. The back ones had cracks, but so in this process I'm going to put fabric down for this one, but the back ones I'm just going to put my final layer over them. So that's going to be my process here. The sheet, I know before I used a little bit 2 sheets, but you know, this one I'm going to brave it a little bit and use a little bit of a wider sheet. Now, before when we started this video, we didn't know, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to do 1 sheet or 2 sheets, or a large or small. Come to find out, we need a large, just more or less due to the fabric. But yeah, you can see here, I'm just trying to shape it in. Biggest priority is getting it down in the crevasses there in here. And it's actually Friday here and we're not open Saturday, so I wanted to kind of do this so that it had nearly 3 days to cure without messing with it. So that's why I kind of rushed this a little bit, because I just wanted to let it cure out and get as hard as possible before I get it back to a customer, because it's going to be, you know, 3 days. So here's this side, and to finish this out, all I'm going to do this is shave it, put another coat, and this side will be done. Now let's go to the other side. Okay, here we are, nearly 3 days later. Everything has dried up perfectly on all 3 of these. But there's something on this one I want to show you, as I mentioned early in the video about the fabric. Okay, we started the fabric here on the edge and then we brought it over. So one downfall thing that happened, you can see how this fabric, I mentioned earlier how you don't want the fabric to end right on the edge. Now I've got all these burrs, you know, right here. It's not the end of the world. All I'm going to do is shave them off. But if I could avoid that, I would. You know, having to go through here and shave all that off. It's not the end of the world. But let's put our coat on the rest of the stuff on the outside and inside, and we'll be done. Then we can reassemble. So I flipped the box over so I can do 2 things at once. I can do the inside, coat this real quick, and flip it back over on the other side, and do the other, coat the other side. So when I flip it over, it's going to rest on the top of these towers, so it's not going to mess this up. So I'm just going to shave this down, coat it, do the same to the other side. Let's go. Here we are with the finished results, and like I said, this is stronger than the original box. This has got 3 layers in it. This back part here and on the other one was blown out, so you can see it definitely doesn't have any give to it. Very little. I got to really push on that to give it, but as compared to the rest of the box, it's stronger than the rest of the box as far as that goes. Yeah, turned out great. And let me show you the inside so you can take a look at that. Everything's nice and smooth on that. And this is one of them that was busted out. Now you see why I started off on the inside, so it looked flush on the outside. See, this has a little cupping in it, but it's got 3 layers and it's super strong. I just didn't want that cupping on the outside. Here it wasn't as bad, but you can see where it was. It wasn't as much of a breakout on this one. And then this one here. Now, if you have a breakout and it goes inside or under the track, basically you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to drill these out, take out all the mounting hardware and all that, and then put a piece of tape over the slot that's here when you take that out. And then when you remove the tape on the back side, it's got enough of a footprint that you can, or an image that you can cut it out with a knife. So let me put it back together and give you the final look. There you have it, another successful repair. This box is ready to get on the road. It's been a couple days after the final repair. If you need to know how to get it back together, just we have some other videos that'll help you with that. Check out our different videos also. We have, if your repair isn't exactly like this, we have other ones that are very different in nature, and hopefully all of them fall within the breach of what you're looking for. If there's anything special you need, just leave something in the comments. We're always happy to put out a special video for that. But that does it for me here at MammothMend. Just remember, our kits come in a large and a small repair kit, and you can find us at MammothMend.com. Thanks a lot.